Good morning. We will get started in just a moment. Just waiting to clear the waiting room. As a reminder, when you are entering from the waiting room, please do remain on mute unless or until you are testifying before the board. Good morning. This is a hearing before the licensing board for the city of Boston. Today is Tuesday, April 1st, 2025. Today's hearing is being held pursuant to temporary amendments to the open meeting law. That is what allows us to meet virtually. Today's hearing is being recorded and will be posted to the City of Boston's website. Before I review procedural matters, I will introduce Chairwoman of the Board, Kathleen Joyce.
Good morning. My name is Kathleen Joyce. Excuse me, I'm Chair of the Boston Licensing Board, and today I'm joined by Commissioner Kiana Saxon and Commissioner Liam Curran.
Thank you very much. Please ensure that your audio and visuals are working properly if you will be testifying before the board this morning. I will call each item in the order that it appears on this morning's agenda. I will then ask who is present on behalf of the licensee, who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department, and whether there are any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify. I will then swear in all parties. After that, the police report will be read into the record, and the licensee or the representative will have the opportunity to make a brief statement, followed by questions by the chair and commissioners. All testimony will be limited only to those individuals with firsthand personal knowledge of the alleged incident. Begin with the first item on this morning's agenda, calling item number 1, BVP LLC, doing business as The Point, located at 147 Hanover Street. Date of the incident, November 1st, 2024. Assault and battery, employee on patron in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Good morning. My name is Michael Ford here for the licensee, and with me to testify is one of the managers, James Finn, and the license premise manager and lead manager, Christopher Gall.
And that's me. I'm here, Christopher Gall.
And James Finn is here as well.
Great. Thank you very much. I do see both of you on our screen. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Detective Walsh.
Thank you, Detective. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning?
Lieutenant Detective Troy, if necessary.
Sergeant Jeff King.
Thank you, Sergeant. Is it possible to turn your camera on so that we can swear you in?
Trying to figure it out. I don't do these very often. Sorry.
No worries. I should
give it again.
Try to your screen.
Mr. Secretary, Sergeant King's matter is the second matter on the agenda today, not this one.
Oh, my apologies.
Perfect. Thank you. So, Sergeant King, there's some time to figure out your video. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge who wish to testify on item number 1? Great. Can you all please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
I do.
Thank you very much. Detective Walsh, if you could please proceed reading the police report into the record for the board.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. The following is the original incident report. About 11:09 p.m., Detective Horn, assigned to the Alpha 432 unit, responded to a radio call for a robbery report at Union Street, North Street, Boston. Caller stated he and friends were assaulted 30 minutes ago. A phone was taken. There were 4 males, and the caller knew the group. On arrival, Detective Horn met with Daniel Fishkin, Fabian Jaramillo Hernandez, and Juan Carlos Silva Figalo, who stated they were attempting to enter the Point Boston bar and were denied by staff. The gentlemen stated that they had all purchased wristbands ahead of time and were trying to explain it to the staff, but were still being denied entry. The conversation between them and staff became heated, and Mr. Silva stated that one of the staff got into his private space and removed his $300 aviator sunglasses from his face. Mr. Silva stated an altercation ensued between himself and the bar staff and his friends Daniel Fishkin and Fabian Jaramillo Hernandez. During the altercation, the gentlemen stated they were attacked, pushed, and punched with hands by other bar staff who came to assist the initial staff member. Mr. Fishkin stated he was robbed of his iPhone 14 Pro cell phone, that he had activated the tracking software for the location. Mr. Silva Figallo was observed with a bloody cut lip. Mr. Fishkin was observed with red abrasions to his forehead, and Mr. Jaramillo Hernandez sustained a chipped tooth. The detective walked back with the gentleman to the location where the incident occurred, which was the rear of the Point Boston Bar on Marshall Street. The detective notified dispatch operations of the new location, 147 Hanover Street. The detective spoke with the lead outside door staff named Websterly Dorsley, who stated 3 male individuals had attempted to gain access into the bar by way of wristbands and they were denied. Websterly pointed out Mr. Silva Figallo, who was wearing aviator's Halloween costume, as the aggressor who got into his private space and attempted to choke him with his hands around his neck. Websterly did state he was defending himself from the attack. Detective Horn observed that Websterly was wearing a dark-colored Celtics jersey, dark-colored sweatpants, and sneakers. Websterly stated while physically fighting with Silva Figallo, the 2 other males got involved in the fight and his staff got involved to defend him. Aviator's sunglasses were observed on the ground, which belonged to Mr. Silva Figallo, and a white wig, which belonged to Mr. Fishkin. The iPhone 14 Pro is not located anywhere nearby. All parties refused medical attention, and Websterly was instructed to inform his manager to preserve all surveillance camera footage of the rear entrance. The gentleman left the area. That's the end of the original incident report. I do have a supplemental narrative that at 12:41 on November 9th, 2024, Detectives Walsh and Curley conducted a licensed premise inspection at 147 Hanover Street. The Point detectives met with manager Jimmy Finn and issued licensed premise inspection notice 37860 for violation. Employee on patron assault and battery. Mr. Finn signed and accepted. I do have another supplemental that I won't read in the entirety, and I'll explain. A1 Detective Walsh investigated the incident, which occurred at the Point, 147 Hanover Street on Halloween night, October 31st, 2024, around 11 p.m. and first spoke with the victims involved. Detective Walsh spoke to Daniel Fishkin, who stated his memory was a bit foggy, but he remembers getting assaulted by the security at the Point. He stated he is wearing a white wig in the video. He stated he got his phone back, which was originally reported stolen. Detective Walsh next spoke to Fabian Jaramillo Hernandez, who stated he was also assaulted by the security after his friend's sunglasses were taken off his face. Detective Walsh then spoke to Juan Carlos Silva Figallo, who stated they bought tickets from a ticketing website, Eventbrite, for a pub crawl, but security from the Point wouldn't allow them in because of a private event. Even though their ticket said the Point was part of the pub crawl, Figallo stated security became aggressive and removed his aviator sunglasses from his face and then threw them on the ground. He stated the fight ensued and the security assaulted them. Juan said he put the security in a neck hold to stop the attack, but was then knocked out by 2 others. The 3 victims could not provide in-depth detail about the assaults. Detective met with manager Jimmy Finn from the Point, who cooperated and provided the names of security involved in the incident. Mr. Finn also provided access for Detective Walsh to download the video of the incident. Detective Walsh additionally recovered video from the Bell and Hand restaurant next door. After reviewing the footage, Detective Walsh made the following observations, and I go on to reference in my video the particular assaults from the employees on the victims in this incident, and the video speaks for itself. If you're not watching the video as I read my observations, it's difficult to follow. But in summary, the 3 victims were attempting to enter the establishment and were denied. There was some back and forth. The door staff, dorsally, then removes the sunglasses from one of the victims, throws them on the ground. The victims attempt to follow Mr. Dorsally towards the entrance to the point, and the fight ensues from there with several staff members getting involved. From my observations, the victims never threw a punch at any of the door staff or seemed aggressive, in my opinion. The door staff, 4 door staff members assaulted each of the victims, and criminal complaints have been filed in Boston Municipal Court against the 4 door staff members. And that is all I have at this time.
Thank you, Detective Walsh. Attorney Ford, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Very briefly, just a couple questions for Detective Walsh. Good morning, Detective. In the video that was provided to you by the Point, I believe you testified that one of the Point's security staff was put in a hold from behind. Is that fair to say?
It's fair to say, yes.
Okay, and was actually grabbed and brought and pulled down to hit the ground, correct?
During the incident, yes.
Okay, and in fact, other security from the Point had to run over to the incident to address it, correct?
The other door staff was around. The 2 quickly separated, and then that victim continued to be assaulted.
And they were quickly separated. Is that your testimony?
When one of the victims attempted to put a door staff in the hold, they went to the ground, and the door staff quickly got out of the hold, and then other door staff began assaulting the victim additionally after that.
Is it fair to say that the other security came to the defense of the security person who was pulled from the ground in a neck hold?
My observations, they didn't attempt to get the security staff member out of the hold because he was already out of it. It appeared to me that they punched him after the hold was released.
And the precursor to the incident was these 3 individuals, these people who wanted to become patrons. They actually rushed the one security guard who had denied them access. Is that fair to say?
No.
Okay.
I would say they followed after the security staff ripped the sunglasses off of one of the victims and abruptly turned around towards the entrance. I'd say followed, not rushed.
You have 2 videos, the point of the actual door, then one from the bell in hand.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Detective. I don't have any further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Counselor.
James Finn, Mr. Finn, are you on?
Yes, I am.
All right, just going to go through some questions with you. You're a manager under Chris Gall, correct?
Correct.
And you were working on October 31st, 2024?
I was.
At the time of the incident, could you just explain to the board what was going on? What was the transition?
So we had a transition from a daytime bar, a crawl event, to a private event at night with a local college for an alumni group.
Okay, was this bar crawl something that the Point created?
We didn't create it. We became a part of it. There's an online group. I think it's called barcrawl.com or crawlwithus.com, something along those lines. We partnered up with them along with a bunch of other venues in the area.
Okay, and when you say partnered, was that just to allow them access?
Allow them access, correct?
There was no free drinks or discounted drinks, correct?
No, sir.
And what was the time period that you allowed the bar crawl to be present in the premises?
I believe they were there from 5 to 9 p.m.
And who was working the security at the front door?
Westerly Dorsley. Jay
And
Dorsley.
Could you just describe, since Mr. Dorsley is no longer with the company or has been was immediately suspended, correct?
He was, yes.
Okay, and terminated, correct?
Yes.
And we'll go into that in a second. Can you tell me, did three individuals come up to the door and ask to enter the bar crawl?
Well, so they initially tried to enter the door at Hanover Street and were denied access by one of our security, Brian Duyan. And Brian told them that the bar crawl was over and pointed in the direction of other bars that may still be participating at that time.
And what specifically, what occurred after that?
Those three individuals walked down to our side entrance on Marshall Street and then proceeded to try to get in that door and were denied entrance by Westerly Dorsley. Jay, he pointed at a sign we had posted saying that there's a private event to let the three individuals know that the bar crawl was no longer being held at the point.
Okay. And there's been some testimony about so-called wristbands for the point. Can you describe that? Or
All different bar crawls give different wristbands to the participants of the bar crawls.
Okay. And at this time, had the part of the bar crawl at the point terminated?
It had, yes. It ended at 9 p.m.
And what was these three individuals' attitude or reaction to being told they can't come in?
I think they were pretty frustrated, and they kept saying that they had paid for a bar crawl from this time to that time. We continued to tell them that it had ended at 9 o'clock for us. I think at one point they even tried to look it up online to let them know that it was over at that time.
Okay. And just briefly, you were working that night?
I was.
Okay. And where were you located?
I was on the first floor bar.
Okay. And that's back and away from the front, correct?
Exactly.
Okay. The doorman Westerly's, would this be acceptable behavior?
Absolutely not. No, it's not something that we do. It's not something we want to be known for doing.
And he was immediately suspended and then terminated, correct?
Correct.
All right. I have no further questions for Mr. Finn. If I can proceed with one more witness. Okay. Mr. Gall, are you present?
I'm here, yes.
All right. What is your name? Could you say for the record?
Christopher Gall, Goll.
And what is your position with the
Manager of record.
And Ezra, you weren't there that night. It was your night off.
I was there. There was a Thursday night. I was not there, no.
Okay. And did you, as a result of this, what did you do by way of investigation?
So when the incident was brought to our attention, we did an internal investigation to talk to all parties on our end that we could of what happened, and we proceeded to make decisions on staff members per our investigation, what we got. We reiterated to our staff with terminating them with our policy and procedures, and so that was what we did with initially after this event did happen.
And if there is a altercation out front, what is the procedure again?
On all, any type of altercation, number one thing is, 1 and 1A, calling the police and notifying the manager on duty. That's known by all of our staff. That's in writing. That's posted from everybody.
Okay. And you had passed on to me the so-called A+ security training. Is that the most recent and updated training manual?
I believe so, which you have. I can make sure that you do have that.
All right, I'll make a representation that was sent to the board yesterday. I have no further questions for Mr. Gall. Just briefly say that we do believe this is an outlier. Mr. Gall's really run a great operation. This shouldn't have happened, and they're embarrassed by it. People were immediately suspended and fired. They've reviewed the training over and over again with all staff for their different positions. they've updated their training manual, which we've submitted, and continue to work on that. And they will not be in front of the board for an incident like this ever again.
Thank you, Attorney Ford. And we'll see if there are any questions from the board at this time, beginning with Chairman Joyce.
Thanks. I have a couple questions. I didn't see what you submitted yesterday. You submitted something additional to the 2-page security and safety policy we have, or is that what you're talking about?
But that's what we're talking about. Yeah, what was submitted yesterday, the procedures pages.
2 pages?
Yes.
So I don't see anything in here that describes what you're talking about, you know, calling the police, not touching patrons. So this 2 pages is what you're saying is the A1 security A+ security training manual?
I think
That
that's
is-
what I'll have to double check.
Yeah, if I could answer.
Yep.
That's for us, a document I sent over to Michael Ford. I can send you over the documents we have posted on in our kitchen downstairs. We can get those over to you today.
Okay. So it looks like all the staff are wearing red shirts in the
Cool.
video.
Correct. Were you talking to me or James Finn, who was on duty that night?
I don't know, whoever can answer that.
Chairwoman, I think probably makes sense to have Chris Gall answer those.
Yes, so they were in staff shirts, correct.
Was the doorman wearing a red shirt?
He was not.
Why was that?
That was a failure on our end. He should have been in a point staff shirt. It was Halloween night. He had a Celtics jersey on, but that was a failure on our end. He should have had a staff represented shirt.
Okay. So how did you, when the pub crawl ended at 9, did you clear the bar out and say everyone has to leave that was on the pub crawl, now it's a private party? How do you manage the coming and going with people that had been there for the pub crawl and then now it's a private party?
So generally what we do is, you know, this pub crawl was a Thursday night. There's a 4-hour block period with, call it, 8 different bars. So we're not shut down to the public during those hours, but people that are on wristbands, if we were to get to a capacity type thing, are able to skip a cover if we were to start that, right? That's the sell on the purchase of the pub crawls. So for that night, 5 to 9, at our event that night, I believe was 10 o'clock. So at 9 o'clock, we shut down to clear the bar. Let all the patrons know, hey, look, we're shutting down. We aren't just throwing people out to the street. You know, we're just saying, hey, we're shutting down. We do have a private event coming in, you know, so there's a slow transition to that. We notify these pub crawls all the time. Hey, here's what we are. As best we can, we get to in writing, look, no drink specials. No, you know, here's the time that we're allotted. We confirm with them. We get it in writing. And, you know, so for our end, you know, we're shut down. It gives us a good hour to reset the bar, check everything in, you know, set up, make sure, you know, obviously bar type duties. And then, you know, we go about our night with our private guest list, private event for that Halloween night.
Okay. I understand that. You, in the testimony today, you said there was an internal investigation done.
Mhm.
Could you submit those notes to the board for our review?
Yes, and that's to your email?
Yeah, and I think at some point you were told to preserve video. Did you preserve video?
I believe that James Finn met with the police officers and they pulled the video and they have our video.
Okay, so we have one video that's from the street. Is there additional video? It's from about 20 feet away. Are you talking about other video that you sent to the police? We'll get it from them. I just want to make sure I'm reviewing everything that was submitted.
Yes, I know have a video of our door on Marshall Street. To the extent of that video, I do not know that. I believe the police do have that.
Okay.
I
So
have that.
will-
I'll forward it to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I will await the internal notes. I do another question. How many people were terminated that night?
There was 4 people that were terminated that night.
Okay. And how many staff did you have working the door? How did the staffing work that night?
I can check the record of that, but we would have one at the one at the Marshall Street door, one at the Hanover Street door, another one on our stairs. Another guy would have been upstairs, and we may have had a fifth floater that night. I have to go check the record of that and get you a definite on there.
Okay, thank you. I have no other questions. Commissioner Curran, Commissioner Saxon?
So regarding video camera coverage and the document you sent, does the document mean that you're going to get better coverage of that entrance with a video camera?
Are you asking me? I'm sorry, sir.
I'm asking anyone from the premises who can answer that question.
If the police officer does have our video, then he should have a better documented video.
No. Is there a plan to get a camera with better coverage of that entrance?
I believe we have sufficient coverage of that entrance. We have a camera that's pointed right down on that entrance. We have a camera that's pointed on the inside down there, and we have a camera from the Hanover Street side there that's placed over there.
Well, the angle you sent us is very hard to see that entrance. I don't think it's very good coverage.
We have recently moved one of the cameras that was above an awning to underneath the awning where you can see the entrance perfectly now on Marshall Street.
So it has been improved from this.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Regarding the 4 people that were let go because of this incident, did you have any disciplinary issues with these 4 people?
We had never had one incident with any of those security members that were with us any prior time before this. So it was a disappointing event for us.
Okay, no, and not even like an unsubstantiated allegation that you didn't discipline them for?
No, I had the people that were there, we're all, I've never had any issues with any of them.
Okay, and then, so prior to this incident, do you have any documentation supporting that any of these people attended and, received like structured training, not just like informal meetings before a shift or something like that?
As far as our training, or as far as something that's like a license training?
Any training that would have like a curriculum that we could review, and then that could show that they, were presented with this curriculum and acknowledged it or that it's documented.
I can look into that document to see if we have anything for that.
Okay. That could potentially be helpful.
Yep.
I think that's all I have right now. Thank you.
I just need to be reminded, what time did the 4 individuals arrive?
I believe it was approximately 10 p.m.
Just jump in. Is the timestamp on the video we got from you, is that accurate to time?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe it is.
And by that time, the private party was underway, or was it still kind of?
It had just started.
Thank you. Are there any further questions from the board? Okay, there have been requests for several materials following this item. One is any internal reports that may be in your possession, the signs that are posted in the kitchen about how to respond to such an incident, any additional videos in addition to the one that we've received from Boston Police, and any evidence that the 4 staff members had received training either from the licensed premise or from an outside trainer. Any of those can be emailed directly to licensingboard@boston.gov. We'll make sure it's sent to the commissioners or in physical copy to room 809 at City Hall. With that, the board will take this under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Calling item number 2, which concerns the same licensee, BVP LLC, doing business as The Point, located at 147 Hanover Street. Date of this incident, November 28th, 2024. An overserved, intoxicated patron in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64. Who's present on behalf of the licensee? Attorney Ford again.
Good morning, Michael Ford for the licensee. With me is we have Christopher Gall, and then we also have Mr. Walker, who's the bartender.
Good morning.
Morning. Thank you very much for being with us. I do see Mr. Walker on my screen, who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department.
Good morning. My name is Officer 2. I am present for the incident that occurred at night.
Thank you. And are there any other individuals with first-hand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify?
Sergeant King, Boston Police.
Great. Thank you very much, Sergeant King. Can all of you please raise your right hand? Officer 2, if you could please raise your, thank you. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much. Who will be reading the police report into the record?
Yep. I'm just pulling out the police report now, okay?
Thank you.
So to give you an idea of the incident, this call originally came in as unable to determine what was happening around at 11:53 on November 27. So about 11:59 on Wednesday, 11:28:24, Officer 2 and the Alpha 421 respond to a sick assist call at 147 Hanover Street at the Point Bar. Also assisted with the call was Boston Fire on scene and Boston EMS. Upon arrival, the officer was met by one of the security staff at the front door of the bar, and the security staff member stated that an unknown female victim, later identified as Natalia Santos, fell from a tall Seuss chair on the second floor and had multiple laceration cut to her face from the impact of the fall. Officer observed that Santos was unsteady on her feet and slurring her speeches and was uncooperative with the officer. Officer spoke to the bartender, and the bartender stated that Santos had been drinking off another patron tab and had fallen from the tall stool chair. Santos was later transported by Boston EMS to MGX for further medical evaluation, and Patrol Supervisor Sergeant King was notified of a Code 35 violation, and the whole incident was captured on body-worn camera.
Thank you very much. Sergeant King will be reading in the license premise violation.
Yeah, I'd like to apologize to the board for my earlier confusion.
No worries.
About 12:40 a.m. on Thursday, November 28th, 2024, Sergeant King, the Alpha 915, conducted a Code 35 license premise inspection at the Point, 147 Hanover Street, Boston. Per the above incident, Sergeant King issued City of Boston license premise inspection notice number 042745 with a violation for overserved patron. The violation notice was received in hand by person in charge, Brandon Morris.
Thank you very much. Attorney Ford, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yes, briefly, just a few questions for you, Officer 2. Because no one from the Boston Police Department observed the fall, correct?
No, nobody observed the fall. By the time I got there, patron had already got up. I did observe she had multiple cuts. You know, she was unsteady on her feet. She was slurring in her speeches at the time, and also being uncooperative. You know, trying to identify herself. And it got to a point where I had to go downstairs because she did not want my presence to be there. And Boston EMS helped escort her down. While they were coming down, she actually fell on the stairs coming down as well.
So it's fair to say you didn't observe the fall, correct?
No.
All right. And you said that there were lacerations on her face?
Yes, she had some cuts on her face, based on what her friends were describing from the impact of the fall, along with the security staff members stating.
You saw all the lacerations on her face and head, correct?
Correct. Based on the body-worn camera, it's also documented in the footage as well.
Well, the camera didn't see the fall, correct?
Karen does not see the fall, no.
All right. And she was clearly, would you say that she could have been disoriented from a head trauma?
Prior to arrival, any possibility.
And licensee cooperated, correct?
Yes, they did.
And there was actually a call to the police, and they came out front immediately, correct?
Once I got on scene, spoke to security staff member. They stated one of the patrons fell, and that's when we went up and I observed Ms. Santos was pretty much on her feet, but very unsteady.
All right, that wasn't my question, though. Would you please just answer my question?
Okay, can you refer the question again?
They called the police and came out and cooperated, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I have no further questions for Officer 2. If I may proceed with some questions for Mr. Walker.
Yes,
Mr. Walker, are you here?
I am.
Would you identify yourself for the board?
Charles Walker, bartender at the Point.
And of course, there was testimony about a woman present that day. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
All right. And Were you the bartender serving her that evening?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And could you describe how much she had to drink and how you monitored that?
So this was a high school reunion, private event for the upstairs. We knew two of the patrons. There was approximately 10 to 15. When she came to the bar, she was completely sober, had no signs of intoxication whatsoever. At that point, she ordered a tequila shot, which was rang in on her friend's tab. And approximately, my best estimation, 45 minutes passed. She orders another tequila shot where she was drinking water heavily because she stated that she needed to be responsible for her children that night. At which point, around approximately 11, she fell from the stool.
Okay. So how long was she on the premises from entry to when she fell?
My best estimation would be about an hour and a half.
And she had how many drinks?
2, sir.
Okay. And you described she just, what caused her to fall based upon what you observed?
At that point in time, my back was turned around to serve another patron. I was getting a drink from the cooler. I did hear the fall. It took me about 10 seconds to respond, at which point I came from behind the bar. She was being tended to by her friends. I made sure that I did my part in tending to her needs as well. The police were called, or the emergency staff was called at that point in time, and responded quickly.
Okay. And you, in fact, was it you who called the police?
It was not. It was a patron. She had him on the phone before I could act. I was more concerned about her safety.
Okay. And could you describe her demeanor, how she was acting, her behavior?
And initially, she was unconscious. And then by the time first responders arrived, she was cognizant and coherent, was able to support herself on her feet with assistance from her friends. She was wearing heels that night. Those had to be taken off.
So she was actually walking around barefoot without any shoes?
At that point, yes, sir.
Okay. I have no further questions for Mr. Walker. If I could just say, have one more witness. Mr. Gall, are you there?
I am here, yes.
Could you identify yourself again for the board?
Christopher Gall, manager of record.
All right. I just want to focus on what the policies are to spot intoxicated people and what you've done since from this incident. What are those policies?
We have anybody that is handling liquor, alcohol, serving it, serve safe, tip certified. We have that documented from there. We've, gone even as far as our security members to getting them to be, serve safe certified as well. We have, IDs that are checked at the door of everybody. That's our first line of, communication of somebody coming in the door, which can tell us any signs of intoxication. All of our bartenders, we don't have servers, so all of our bartenders are taking orders directly from patrons. So you're getting a drink from somebody that you're ordering from. So that second line, that they're all trained for this. We have our policy and procedures as far as pouring, as far as, when you pour a drink, you put it in the tab. Everything's accounted for that. And, we do our best job that we can to be able to identify any signs of intoxication and to make sure we're not over serving patrons.
Okay, I have no further questions for you, Mr. Gall. Just very briefly in summary, we believe we followed that procedure, do have a very good procedure in place. Not questioning what Officer 2 observed at all, but really believe that this woman may have been significantly disoriented by by hitting her head. The lacerations were indication of that. She's walking around because she had to take off the shoes from the fall. What I would want to focus on my presentation today is that there are policies and procedures, and that there's been review of those through internal training and the requirement of tip certification, and also the fact that they do track tip drinks, because there's that one-to-one service, and they are going to be hyper vigilant for this, so that there's no issues in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see if there are any questions from the board. Chairman Joyce?
Yes, I don't know if this is a question for Mr. Gall or Mr. Walker, but the testimony was that she was served 2 drinks. The police report says that the bartender stated she had been seen drinking off of other patrons' tabs. What do you do in a situation like that when you see someone who appears to be disoriented, drinking off other people's tabs?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to answer that question. At that point in time, she was ordering off her friend's tab, and that was stated to the officer. She was drinking water heavily, and to me, when she first arrived to the point upstairs for the party, she showed no signs of intoxication.
Can I follow up on that question too? Or do you need more answers for that, or are you okay there?
Please elaborate. Yep.
Yeah, no. So I think are you asking, just to be clarify things? Are you asking if somebody goes up to the bar and orders a drink off somebody else's tab, as far as that, or what are you asking exactly?
So it sounded like the bartender served her 2 drinks. So what does it mean when someone's drinking off another person's tab? Does that mean she was taking someone else's drink and drinking it, or she placed an order? Was she only served 2 drinks?
Yes, I believe that it was. I believe that it was a high school reunion. The first person had ordered 2 drinks on a tab, so the 2 drinks were accounted for on a separate tab.
Okay, so
say
the officer spoke to the bartender, and that the bartender stated that Santos had been drinking off of other people's tabs and had fell from her stool.
I'm not sure about the police report. Was it? I think our thing is that we had tracked her having 2 drinks, and she may have had a drink off somebody else's tab. She had drank off somebody else's tab.
That would mean,
wouldn't
right,
be
so that's, I mean, if you're tracking her drinks, it's the one she orders from the bartender.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, let's say her friend orders 2 drinks. Those get attributed to the friend, not her, right?
It would be, I get what you're saying, correct. Yes.
So she could have consumed more if someone else bought her a drink.
I believe that night, and you can ask Charles Walker, there was 12 patrons up there for it. So from what we saw from it, it was 2 drinks that she had that were served to her.
Correct. And it was a small enough crowd for me to monitor the situation diligently. And at no point in time was I questioning her ability or her coherency and or level of intoxication.
Okay.
And mainly so because she was drinking. I mean, she had a water in her hand, and I specifically remember filling her water up extensively. And then she had those 2 drinks off a friend's tab, who ordered those drinks for her, is what I mean by that. At which point she consumed, approximately 45 minutes apart.
Okay. Thank you very much. I don't have any other questions. Commissioner Saxon or Commissioner Curran?
Would there been any video available for this?
I don't believe we preserved video for this, no.
Perhaps you could say, how long does the video system work in relation to the incident and you receiving the violation?
I believe our video is a 6-week run over. As we did know, 2 of the people of the high school unit we had gotten in contact with them and reached out to the patron to follow up to see if she was okay or there was anything there, and we got word back from her on a couple things. So,
Officer True, do you remember what she said? I know you said that her speech was blurred, but did she offer anything in explanation?
Pretty much in a way, seems like she don't want to get this bar in trouble the way she was talking, just because of how, like I said, she was in terms of her speech wise, she was slurring. She multiple times she refused to identify herself. I had to get her information, try to get through her friends, and her friends were having the same problem too, slurring their speech. I was only able to reach and get a name, and the date of birth was given like incorrectly. I was only able to find her through our system database because she's already been in our report prior, and from there I was able to identify her.
And a question for Walker. You said that she was drinking a lot of water, but were these liters? Are you talking cups?
16-ounce cup.
And how many times did she ask for the 16-ounce cup to be refilled?
To my best estimation, 4 or 5.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board?
You said it's 6 weeks, right? The video would have been 6 weeks.
I believe so. I could be wrong. I want to say it's anywhere 4 to 6 weeks. My best estimate. I don't think it goes back further than that.
Okay, so video would have existed when you received the license premise violation, right?
Correct.
Okay. At that time, did you do any kind of search to see if there was video about that would have covered this incident?
I did not look further into it of the video. On that, no, I didn't think there was a reason to save anything. But that could have been, that was just from there. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? Board will take this under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 3 has been continued at the request of the licensee. Calling item number 4, Rye Tub Inc., doing business as the Alley Bar located at 237 to 275 Washington Street. Date of the incident, October 23rd, 2024. Assault and battery, patron on patron, in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Good morning. My name is Damian Tubrit. I'm joined by my manager of record, Mr. Courtney Furno, and security Sam Field.
Thank you. I see Mr. Furno. I'm not sure I see Mr. Field on my screen.
Not sure how.
Oh, there we go. I can hear you. Just asked you to start your video. Something should have popped up on your screen. In the meantime, I'll ask. There we go. I can see you now. Thank you. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Detective Brian Harold.
Officer Frankie Ramirez.
Lieutenant Detective Troy, if necessary.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify? Can you all please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much. Who will be reading the police report into the record for the board?
Officer Ramirez.
Great, you may please proceed.
About 2:09 a.m. on Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024, officers Ramirez and Genius in the Alpha 202 Alpha responded to a radio call for an assault in progress at 1 Boston Place, Boston. Initial incident took place at the Alley Bar, 14 Pie Alley. Upon arrival, officer made contact with the victim, John Wesley Ball, who stated that he was saying bye to a friend, Michael Pierce, while at the Alley Bar, when the suspect, Raymond F. Daly, began to call him offensive names. The victim, Wellesley, stated that he responded to the suspect, Daly, by shouting, "Fuck you, asshole." When Daly then responded by physically attacking Ball, Ball refused DMS. When interviewed, Daly stated that while at the Pie Alley Bar, Ball clotheslined him and knocked him off his stool for no reason. Patrol supervisor on duty, Sergeant Dunford, notified of Code 35.
Thank you, Officer Ramirez. Mr. Tubrit, Mr. Furno, Mr. Field, would you like to address the alleged incident?
I can address it. On the morning of October 23rd at approximately 1:50 a.m., a scuffle broke out between Mr. John Ball and Mr. Raymond Daly. There didn't appear to be any lead-up argument to the two prior to the incident. John Ball was a regular customer for a number of years at the time. Raymond Daly was unknown to us and a new customer. Sam Field was doing security that night, and he was sweeping within a few feet of the incident when it broke out. John Ball initially appeared to be the innocent party here. Both police and ambulance assistance were offered to both John Ball and Raymond Daly, both declined. Mr. Daly was asked to leave, and he did so. It was close to 2 o'clock in the morning anyway, so the bartender closed the bar and asked everybody to leave. John Ball was asked to stay while the bar was cleared out, and he was offered the option to leave by the back door, which opens out onto Washington Street instead of Pie Alley, the front door. John declined and left of his own accord, and he was walked to the door by Sam Field. When John Ball left the alley bar, the Pie Alley was empty of other customers. It was only the following day that we learned that a fight broke out between John Ball and Raymond Daly outside of One Boston Place. Upon reviewing the video the next day, it appears to show that John Ball is the aggressor and not John Daly. The video shows John Ball push Raymond Daly off of his bar stool in an unprovoked, random manner. We did provide video of the incident to the Boston Police Department.
Thank you very much. Anything further before we move to questions from the board?
Nope.
Great. With that, we'll see if there are any. Chairwoman Joyce.
Thank you. We did get the video. Who is the one that was familiar to you, who was a patron that's been there before?
John Wesley Ball. He was a customer for a number of years.
All right, thank you. I don't have any questions at this time. Commissioner Curran or Commissioner Saxon?
No questions. Thank you.
No questions from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The board will take this matter under advisement.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Calling item number 5, JJ&R LLC, doing business as The Mix, located at 555 Talbot Ave in Dorchester. Date of the incident, November 9th, 2024. Assault and battery, patron on patron, a fight outside the premise in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A. Who is present on behalf of the licensee? Who's here on behalf of The Mix?
I see Mr. Falk here.
I do too. Dr. Falk, are you able? I'm going to ask you to unmute and to start your video. So we are on your item now.
Yes, sorry, I'm having trouble. There you go. All right, my apologies. I'm here on behalf, and I also have the other two co-owners, Levi Smitty and Jarvis Adams as well. But I'm listed as the manager, so I'll be able to answer all questions.
Thank you. If the other two individuals will be testifying, we'll need to have their camera on so we can swear them in as well.
I think I'll be doing the testimony.
Okay, thank you. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Sergeant Chris Burns and Police Officer Luis Velasquez.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify this morning? Can you all please raise your right hand? Officer Velasquez, if you could please raise your right hand as well. Thank you. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Thank you all. Who will be reading the police report into the record?
Police Officer Luis Velasquez.
Great. You may
be reading that now. Sure. About 9:54 p.m. on Saturday, November 9th, 2024, Officer Swanson, Velasquez, and Natarelli in the Harry 701 Frank, Harry 713 Frank, Harry 714 Frank responded to a radio call for a fight at the intersection of Dorchester Avenue and Ashmont Street. Upon arrival, officers observed two females entangled on the ground at the above intersection. The female suspect, Stephanie De La Cruz, was observed on top of the victim, Kiara Moore. Officers immediately announced their presence and removed the females from one another. Both parties stated that they were drinking together at 555 Talbot Avenue, The Mix. The victim stated that she was attempting to leave with her friend, Patrice Baxter. The suspect approached them, urging them to stay. The victim stated that the suspect followed them out of the establishment and a physical struggle ensued. The suspect refused to share her side of the story. Boston EMS was called to the scene and evaluated the suspect. Suspect denied further treatment, stating she was fine. The suspect's sister was called shortly and arrived shortly on scene and transported her home. The Harry 912 Sergeant Burns conducted a code 35 at 555 Talbot Ave. The mix, citation number 073531, was issued for the patron-on-patron fight outside. Gene Simoli accepted violation on behalf of the mix, and that should be the end of the report.
Thank you very much. Dr. Falk, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yes, so that night, there was no incident that happened inside of the establishment. We know that that group of individuals were all friendly to one another. They all left on their own accord. No one was overserved. There was no tension that happened. As they left, we only were made aware of the situation when the police officer came and issued the citation. So there was no issue within our establishment. There was no sign that there was going to be a fight. There was no intoxicated patrons, and we accepted the citation willingly, just because we just don't want to have anybody who comes to our establishment be harmed in any way. And if there's anything that we can do to make sure folks are safe, that's what we try to do, which is why we have security on premises, which is why we also make sure our security does not physically touch anyone. And if there are any issues, we make sure that our security calls the police to be the actual intermediaries to stop any potential incidents. We are located at a busy intersection that has a lot of, we'll just call them social ills within the area that are not attributed to our establishment, but things do happen in that area. So we want to make sure everybody's safe and we do our part and make sure we have our due diligence. So that's all that we will add.
Thank you for that. The board may have some questions for you. We'll start with Chairwoman Joyce. Any questions?
Thank you. The police report says that both parties stated that they had been inside. Did anything happen inside that you recall or that you observed or any of your staff observed between these two people?
No, there was no incident that happened with it inside. The alleged suspect in this incident is a regular at our establishment. She never has any issues. She comes, she eats, she comes from work. I know she's in the building trade, so she usually comes around the lunchtime hours. But there was no indication that there was any incident. They were all together and appeared to be enjoying themselves. So the last thing that we would expect to get was be a citation and to see the police report later that they were actually the ones involved in any incident.
Okay. And could you see the altercation that was happening outside from inside?
No.
Okay.
No.
I don't have any other questions. Commissioner Curran or Commissioner Saxon?
I have no questions. Thank you.
No questions from me. Thank you.
Thank you. If there are no further questions, then the board will take this under advisement.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm calling item number 6, La Abundancia Bakery Corp. doing business as La Abundancia Restaurant located at 59 Meridian Street in East Boston. Date of the incident, December 21st, 2024. Premise providing bottle service without board approval in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64. Who's present on behalf of the licensee?
Good morning. My name is Joanna Gallego. I am her daughter-in-law, and this is Nori Garcia, the owner of La Abundancia.
Great. Thank you for being with us. Could you please just state your name one more time for the record? Make sure I got it.
Yes, Joanna Gallego, Joana.
Joanna. Yep. Thank you, Ms. Gallego. And thank you, Ms. Garcia. I see you both. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
Sergeant Detective William Gallagher.
Detective Eddie Hernandez if needed.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals with firsthand knowledge of the alleged incident who wish to testify? Can you all please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
I do.
Thank you, Sergeant Detective Gallagher. If you could please read the police report into the record for
Yes,
the board.
good morning. On 12/21/2024, at about 11:52 p.m., Sergeant Detective William Gallagher, Detective Eddie Hernandez, assigned to the licensed premise unit, conducted a licensed premise inspection of La Abundancia at 59 Meridian Street. As detectives watched the premise, they observed patrons pouring their own drinks from tumblers into shot glasses. Detectives discovered the tumblers to be 12 ounces and they contained aguardiente. Detectives did not observe bottle service as a condition on Lund Abundancia's liquor license. Detectives asked to speak to the manager. Mr. Ali Perez arrived on scene shortly. Detectives informed him of their observations. Detectives informed Mr. Perez that mass law prohibits service of more than 2 drinks to 1 patron at a time, which is mass prohibited practices. Mr. Perez stated he was unaware and he would cease the practice. As a result, the detectives had observed Sergeant Gallagher issued license premise inspection notice number 017938 to La Abundancia for premise providing bottle service without liquor board approval. Mr. Ali Perez signed for and accepted the notice. It includes the report, a picture, which the report can see it. It's a 12-ounce tumbler, and you can see the little shot glass next to it. The aguardiente was in that, and the customers were pouring their own drinks. That's all.
Thank you very much, Ms. Garcia. Ms. Gallego, would you like to address the alleged incident?
Yeah, so she does apologize to the board. She is aware that this is not something that they're able to do. Unfortunately, Arley, he is the manager, but he's the manager for the kitchen, so he is not really aware of what happens in the front of the house. That night, she actually had left home to change, and so she wasn't present for when the officers arrived on site, which is why she was not available in the moment. She did provide another training education for all employees that they were aware that this is not something, but apparently what the waitress told Nuri was that in the moment she got busy and forgot to remove the tumbler from the bar and just left it there. And since Nuri wasn't there supervising, it went longer than it should have been. So she did provide her with a written warning. And if it happened again, she will get terminated. Excuse me. And on March 15, 2025, Nuri hired Walter Solorzano's alcohol awareness consultant to provide a training for all employees of La Abundancia to ensure that this not happen again. And if the board can provide me with some information or email where I can send the letter that he provided us.
Sure, that can be sent directly to licensing board. It's all one word, licensingboard@boston.gov, and make sure that that's shared with the commissioners.
Thank you. So Sergeant Gallagher, when you were walking through the licensed premise, was it just one table that had this tumbler that was left by the wait staff, or was the whole restaurant?
And I was back in December. I'm going to say there was at least more than one, but it's not in the report, so I can't go out on a limb and say for sure. But we did notice that one. Detective Hernandez took a picture of that one. I'm not sure if Eddie remembers, but we did key on that one. It was right up front.
Okay.
There was only one. There was only one table at the time that had it, man.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I have no other questions. Commissioner Curran or Commissioner Saxon?
I'm just not clear. What is the tumbler? Is it something that the bartender uses, or is it something that you were using to serve in this manner?
So what they do is that they try to use the tumbler so they don't keep bottles everywhere, right? And they have a little fridge behind the bar where they keep the tumblers to make sure the alcohol stays cold, because aguardiente is usually a cold beverage. And so they use the tumbler to make it easy for pouring, especially when they're busy and there's only 2 people for the restaurant in general. So instead of using the bottles every time, they just pour some in there and then they just reuse it. And once it's done, then they'll rebottle again. But everything is kept in the fridge behind the bar.
All right, so this is just a technique to serve it cold, and that would be to like multiple patrons, but you still serve. You should have been serving it one at a time, right?
Correct, which is why she gave her a written warning and letting her know that if it happened again, she will be terminated, because that should have never happened.
Okay, thank you.
Nothing additional, thank you.
Thank you very much. The board will take this matter under advisement as well. Those are all the items before the board this morning. The board is set to vote on Thursday, April 4th at 10 a.m. Notice has been posted to the city's website. That will adjourn this hearing. Thank you all and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.